Hello, welcome to our YouTube channel again. And today I'm going to talk about the chapter 1, Characteristics and Classification of Living Organisms. This is for IGCSE Cambridge Syllabus Biology 0610. Let me introduce myself again. I am Dr. Mary, the lead IGCSE Biology teacher at Innovative Education. So let's get started. There are 5 kingdoms. All the organisms are grouped into 5 large groups called kingdoms. So those 5 are animals, plants, fungi, protoctists, and prokaryotes. I will mention revision notes for each kingdom. So let's look at the features of all animals. They all are made out of many cells. So they are multicellular. Their cells contain a nucleus, but there is no cell wall in their cell, unlike plant cells. And they also do not have chloroplasts. So they cannot do photosynthesis and have to feed on organic substances made by other living things. So under the animal kingdom, it is subdivided into 2 groups. If they have backbone, they are called vertebrates. If they do not have backbones, they are called invertebrates. Among all the invertebrates, the most important group for your exam is arthropod. Under the arthropod group, it is subdivided into 4 subgroups again. Those are insects, arachnids, crustacea, and myriapods. Vertebrates are subdivided into 5 groups again. They are fish, amphibian, reptile, bird, and mammal. Now, let's look at the common features of all arthropods. They have jointed limbs. So here you can see the limbs are jointed. And they have segmented bodies. And they have hard-formed external skeleton called cuticle. Now let's look at the key features of each group of arthropods. The first, this one and this one. These 2 rows are the most important rows and features for your exam. To be able to identify insects, you have to know how many pairs of legs they have and how many parts their bodies are divided into how many parts. So for the insects, they have 3 pairs of legs and their bodies are divided into head, thorax, and abdomen. Those are the key features. To identify arachnids, you have to look for 4 pairs of legs and their bodies are divided into cephalothorax and abdomen. To identify as crustacea, they must have 5 or more pairs of limbs and their bodies are divided into cephalothorax and abdomen. To be called as myriapods, they must have 10 or more pairs of legs, and their bodies are not obviously divided. So I have put some photos of arthropods here, and I hope you understand these features. Now, let's look at the key features of vertebrates. There are 5 groups. For the fish, their bodies are covered in scales, and they have fins for movement, and they produce jelly-covered eggs in water. And they have eyes and lateral line for detecting vibrations in water, but they do not have ears. They are cold-blooded, which means they cannot control their own body temperature. They have gills for breathing. Amphibia have moist skin, and they have 4 limbs, and they produce jelly-covered eggs in water, just like fish. And they have eyes and ears as sense organs. They are cold-blooded, and they have lungs and skin for breathing. Reptiles. Reptiles, the bodies of reptiles are covered in scales. They have dry skin, and they have 4 legs, usually, except snakes. And they produce eggs on land. They laid egg on land. Their eggs are covered by waterproof shell, and they lay their eggs on land. They have eyes and ears as sense organs, and they are also cold-blooded, and they have lungs for breathing. Birds. Birds have feathers on their body, and they have scales on legs. They have 2 wings and 2 legs for movement, and they produce eggs with a hard shell. And of course, they lay their eggs on land. They have eyes and ears, and now they become warm-blooded, unlike the other 3 here. And they have lungs for breathing, and they have beaks. Mammals, the last group of vertebrates. Their bodies are covered in fur. They have 4 limbs. They produce live young. They do not lay eggs anymore. And they have eyes and ears. Their ears are now become visible, unlike the other 4 here. And they are warm-blooded, and they have lungs for breathing. And females produce milk to feed their young. So these are the key features you have to remember for your exam. Now let's look at the features of all plants. They are, just like animals, multicellular, and their cells contain a nucleus, chloroplast, and cellulose cells. Since they have chloroplast, they can do photosynthesis. This is about monocot and dicot. This topic is really important for multiple choice questions. So, to identify as monocot, monocotyledon, their leaves must be long and narrow, just like this picture. And they have parallel veins. And their seeds have 1 cotyledon. And the flower parts, especially petals, are multiple of 3. So multiple of 3 means 3, 6, 9, and so on. So you can count the petal here. It is 6. To call it as a dicot, dicotyledon, their leaves must be broad, and they have branching veins, and their seeds have 2 cotyledons. And their petals are multiple of 5s, 5, 10, 15, and so on. So I hope you understand these key features of monocot and dicot.
Hello, ကုတုပန်းကထပ်တန်းရွယ်ကျောင်းသားကျောင်းသူတွေအတွက်အရန်ကိုအကျိုးရှိမဲ့ website တစ်ခုပါဒီ website မှာဆိုရင် GED, IGCSE, LTS content ပေါင်းများစွာကိုအခမဲ့မြစ်တာနဲ့တင်ပေးသွားမှာပဲဖြစ်ပါတယ်
Now let's look at the features of all fungi. The examples are molds, mushrooms, and yeast. They are usually multicellular, except yeast. Yeast are unicellular. The cells have nuclei, and they have cell they have cell walls. And like plant cells, the cell walls of fungi cell are made of chitin. And since they do not have chloroplasts, they cannot photosynthesize. So they have to feed on dead or decaying material or on live material. If it feeds on dead material, they are called saprophytic organisms. If they feed on live material, they are called parasitic organisms. Now, let's look at the features of all Protoctists. The examples are amoeba, paramecium, and plasmodium. I've added some pictures here, and most of them are unicellular, but some are multicellular, and they all have nucleus, and some may have cell walls and chloroplasts. If they have chloroplasts, they can photosynthesize. If they do not have chloroplasts, they have to feed on other organic substances. Now, let's look at the features of all prokaryotes. The most common example is bacteria. They are unicellular, they do not have a nucleus, but they have a single chromosome called nucleoid. They have cell walls, but not made of cellulose. Their cell walls are made of peptidoglycan. Now the last one, the features of all viruses. Actually, viruses are not recognized as living things because they lack 7 living characteristics. And they have to depend on a host to be able to reproduce and to make multiple copies of themselves. They simply have the genetic material, RNA or DNA, which is surrounded by protein coat. You can see it here. And they do not have cell membrane or nucleus or cytoplasm. So it means it does not have a cell. It just have genetic material surrounded by a protein coat. So I made some summary of the differences between 5 kingdoms in this table. And also the differences between eukaryotes and prokaryotes. Eukaryotes are animals, plants, fungus, and protoctists. They have membrane-bound organelles. Eukaryotes are eukaryotes because they have nucleus and membrane-bound organelles. In contrast, prokaryote does not have membrane-bound organelles. This is really an important question for your exam. It usually asks questions like, give 2 features, 2 differences, or give 2 similarities between animal and plant, or give 2 differences between animal and bacteria. So you can use this table to be able to answer that question. So here I also make a table of the differences between bacteria and virus. Just like the other one, here it can act like give 2 differences between bacteria and virus, give 2 similarities between bacteria and virus. But it usually asks about 2 differences or 3 differences. So this is the end of it. I hope it is helpful and useful for you. If you enjoy watching this video, please like and subscribe our YouTube channel, and Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you soon again in another video. Bye-bye.